Hello, 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 everybody. Let me know when you come on. Let me know when you're here. I'm just going to tag a few of you. Let's see. When you come on, let me know how you are, what you've been up to, and how your day is going so far. I'd love to hear. Make sure the sound is up here. Excellent. Okay. So, again, if you're watching, say hi. Don't hide. I'm just going to make sure that I can see comments. Hi, Ivana. Yes, I can see comments. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So, ladies, today we are going to be talking about affirmations, right? Now, the reason I've done this, that I'm doing this session with you, is because actually we use affirmations all the time. Our children use them all the time. We use them all the time. And essentially, it's about bringing that conscious awareness to the kinds of affirmations that we are using. So for those of you that are not in the know about affirmations, they are essentially statements of truth, okay? They are based on our belief systems and our own internal lens about how life flows and what happens in life and how things unfold. So they're based on your perception of life. So the thing is with affirmations is that they can be positive and that they can be negative, okay? So they can go either way. Essentially, we want to bring in more positive affirmations into our world, more so than statements of truth that are negative, because it affects us on a whole mind, body, soul level. So a lot of the times we hear about affirmations more so to do with children. You know, there are things like affirmation cards. They bring it in around their mindset and growth mindset activities and things like that. But affirmations are really important for us as adults as well. And really bringing in that conscious awareness around what we tell ourselves and how we're speaking to ourselves on a daily basis. Let me know if any of you here use affirmations, either personally or to do with your work, or if any of you encourage your children to do affirmations as well, because I'd be really interested to hear. And I'd be really interested to hear the kind of affirmations that you use as well. So let's make this session as interactive as possible, and also feel free to ask any questions that you have. And again, comment and let me know if you're watching, because essentially this workshop is here to support you and your children. So feel free to just ask anything and join in the discussion as well. So that is what an affirmation is. It is a statement of truth based on your belief systems of how you perceive life. Okay. Helen says, I recently bought a set for my 7-year-old. Yeah, exactly. And look, I have my set here. This is what my youngest uses these sometimes. I don't know if it's backwards there, but these are my personal design affirmation cards, which I will talk about later as well in terms of how we use them. But yeah, you hear it all the time for kids, right? But it's really important for us as adults that we're being just as mindful about what we're saying to ourselves and bringing more conscious awareness, as you'll hear me talk about this a lot, conscious awareness about how we speak to ourselves, because that is so important. So yeah, we want to be bringing in more positive affirmations in on a daily basis. And I guess the important question is why? Why are affirmations positive affirmations so important for adults and children? And the truth is, they affect us, our words, they affect us on very deep levels. Okay, so if you've been in my audience for a while, you would have heard me say that your words are spells. And it's not necessarily kind of going off into the woo-woo area with it, but essentially what we tell ourselves, what we say about ourselves, it embeds on so many different levels. If you think about it as a child, if you kind of thought to yourself, I'm useless, I'm no good, whether we recognize it or help bring conscious awareness to it, growing up, you will have had that belief embedded in you, and you will be saying that to yourself through different stages and areas of your life, whether you realize it or not. And that often comes up in parenting and our relationships, essentially. The feeling of not feeling good enough, or whatever affirmation or belief you've placed upon yourself from a young age, is what we can carry through until we kind of step in there and we change it. And it's really easy to have a belief system or create one when there has been wounding or trauma, or essentially evidence that backs it up as well. Let me know if any of this makes sense or does not make sense to you, for those of you who are watching. Because the truth is, when we really get to grips with positive affirmations, they are so beneficial for us in every area of our lives. They improve our mindset, they increase our emotional intelligence, they help children with their resilience as well, and growth mindset also, which we hear so much about. And from an energy perspective as well, what can happen is it activates a brand new vibration to assist you in manifesting evidence of that belief system also. Okay, so there are some real positives to getting into a habit of bringing in positive affirmations into your world. And again, it can be for any area of your life. It can be in your work, it can be in your relationships. So if, for example, one of the big things that does come up in relationships is I'm not enough, I'm not important. Now, if we've had that affirmation, that statement of truth playing out for years and years and years, it's important that we can take a step back and go, right, okay, where can I see evidence that actually maybe doesn't back up that affirmation, and create a new one that says, well, you are important, and this and this and this is when it happened. Right? Because it's easy to create an internal lens that sees the negative if we've always kind of, not always, but if we've experienced a lot of negative and we have affirmations that have evidence that backs it up, and we create a lens that kind of only sees that. So sometimes it's about looking for evidence that says otherwise as well, to say, oh, actually, maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm not unimportant with everyone or in every area of my life, because I remember this happened and I can see it in there. And does that make sense? So it's really important to bring awareness to the types of affirmations that you're saying to yourself on a daily basis. And it's really important that when we're teaching our children about affirmations as well, it's about getting them into this habit of stating a belief system, yes, but stating a desire also. Okay, so one of the things that I find a lot of people say to me is these affirmations, they don't work. Hang on, let me just answer this question. So affirmation is reassurance, positive praise, reminding loved ones and others how they're loved, how loved they are. So that would be praise, yes. An affirmation is like a statement. So an affirmation would be, I am, let's think of some adult affirmations, right? I am wealthy. I am loved. I am always appreciated. I am valued. I am a millionaire. I am living my best life. Does that make sense, Ivana? Let me know. So it's statements we tell ourselves. And on the flip side, a negative affirmation could be, I am fat and ugly, or I am a turn off, or I'm rubbish at maths, or I'm just rubbish at everything. I can't get anything right. All of my relationships fail because of me. It's always because of me. I ruin everything. Interesting, as I thought affirmations were always positive. I didn't realize negative thoughts and patterns were also. I cannot see the rest of that. Let me see. I didn't realize negative thoughts and patterns were also a kind of affirmation. Yeah. So they're essentially your statements of truth that you say to yourself. So this is why it's so important that we can bring awareness to the fact that, hello Alina, that we have positive affirmations and we have negative ones as well. And it's like saying, well, okay, which ones am I really gravitating to on a daily basis here? Which ones are the ones that I'm saying frequently to myself? I do it all the time with children, but rarely with adults. And this is why it's so important, because if we as adults can get into a place of doing this ourselves, the same things that we're trying to teach our children actually will pick it up a lot easier, because we're embodying what we're teaching, if that makes sense. So remember, children tend to learn more from what they see, not from what they've kind of been told. They can do, but they do, but they learn a lot easier than they would do from just being told. So seeing mum maybe doing some affirmation cards, or seeing mum journaling some affirmations, maybe doing it together, is something that will really benefit you and your child, because you're embodying what you're teaching. Okay. One thing I do hear a lot is, you know, with parents that do encourage affirmations with their children, is, you know, they don't really seem to be into it. They're not bothered with it. The cards are just there on the table. They're not doing anything. And the first thing I will say is, well, are you doing them yourself? Because they will benefit you as well. Remember, we have to lead first. Exactly. We are the role models. And are you actually showing enthusiasm to do them? Are you doing them together? Okay, because your kids want to see that you're doing this too. Like, it doesn't want to feel like work. It wants to feel like it's fun, like it's something enjoyable. So play with it as much as you can, whether they're affirmation cards or whether they are just writing things down, you know, affirmations on a piece of paper, in a journal, whatever way feels right for you. Do it with them and lead as well. This is the thing, we have to lead. We cannot just expect them to do something that we're not really doing. So that's something I would say is beneficial as well when it comes to affirmation. It's bringing awareness to the fact that we're affirming to ourselves every single day, but what are we affirming? Are we affirming things that are going to support us on our pathway, or support us in a kind of attaining a certain feeling or a goal or a desire? Or are we affirming things that actually take us further away? Okay, does that make sense to everyone so far? Let me know if it doesn't. Just check my comments. Okay. So here's a really common thing that I hear a lot from parents and children as well. These rubbish affirmations do not work. Okay? Yes, agree that sometimes it's hard. It is sometimes because, you know, we're busy and we've got loads of things going on, so it's really easy to kind of say, oh, here's a pack of affirmation cards, or put them out. You just do that. I always say with things like mindset and anything that kind of connects in with emotions, emotional intelligence, growth mindset, resilience, all these things that we want our children to have, use it as a way or an activity to do it with them, because your kids love to spend time with you anyway, right? You can use it as a place of getting connected with your child as well, building connection, building conversation, even if it means, you know, it's just a 10-15 minute session, or you know, card pull. It doesn't matter. For your child, it will feel amazing because they're getting to spend time with their parent that they love very much. They're also learning about emotional intelligence. They're also learning about affirmations. You're learning more about your child as well, because your child could pull a card or write something and go, actually, you know, they could write a few negative affirmations. You know, it could raise your own awareness around your child's mindset as well. So there are so many positives to even just having like a 15, even 20-minute session of one-to-one connected time with your child, learning more about your child so you can help them more as well. Okay? And it will make you feel good too, because, you know, one of the big things with us as mums is the guilt of not spending enough time with our children, or having that one-to-one time that we know they want. So it's kind of a situation where it can hit at all different angles in a really positive way as well. I just realized that I always tell my daughter to be brave, try new things and so on, but I am always worried about the news. So now we all do new things together. Exactly, doing it together, because once they see that they're the leader, a mum, obviously depending on the family situation, is doing these things as well, it becomes so much more encouraging and easier for the child to respond in a much more positive way towards it. So, as I was saying, yeah, one of the common things that I hear is you know, affirmations don't work. And I hear this a lot more so from adults than I do from the kids. Let me see here. I never got any affirmations from my parents when I was young, or even now. I had to learn how to praise others when I was a room leader in nursery. I was always expected to get on with my life and work. I was loved by them, but they just can't express themselves. Absolutely. Like, this is so common, right? We only know certain things when we sometimes face an issue or a problem, or we want to grow and do some self-development, and we learn new ways of doing things. You know, I can actually tell you, I've never been told that I was loved by my parents. My parents never uttered the words, I love you, I am proud of you. So I grew up kind of feeling like the only time I was really loved or praised was when I did really well at school. And even then, they didn't say, well done, you've done really well. It was just like, oh yeah, you know, she's getting A's and A stars and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, okay, external validation, but that's for a whole different topic. But yeah, so I was never taught these things. And it was when I became a mum that I realised that I didn't want my children to feel the same way, but I also realised the amount of negative affirmations that I was telling myself growing up. Because you just don't realise it until you actually look at it and go, well, actually, what have I been saying to myself? What have I been speaking to myself? You know, until you're looking at it through different eyes, which we do as mums. We look at things through different eyes because we've just got this responsibility there now, and we don't want our children to go through certain things that we went through, right? So yeah, I completely resonate with that. And this is why I always say there's always time to change. There's always room for more. There's always an opportunity to do better and feel better and be the best version of yourself. Oh, I make a huge fuss when my little one even gets a sticker, bless. And this is the thing, right? So even if you didn't hear affirmations growing up, even if you didn't get those things, you can still bring them now. Absolutely. Totally different generation. And we are more open and more flexible to learning different ways of being. So this is why it's an important time now that we grab hold of these things and we teach them to our children so they can carry on these healthier patterns further down the line. So yeah, the older generations, the old school way is very different to how it is now. If you'd have tried to tell my parents about affirmations, like, it would have gone, whatever, no, we do it my way, this is how you parent, right? So it was very kind of a linear way of parenting. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong, doesn't make it good, doesn't make it bad. It's just about bringing in a newer, more flexible energy around parenting and focusing more so on things that maybe our parents wouldn't have focused on, such as emotional intelligence and the growth mindset that we all need as well. So yes, so one of the things that I hear so often, and as I was saying before, I hear it mainly from adults, is that affirmations don't work. So in the past, I've had clients say to me, you know, I've been saying I'm a millionaire and I am rich for months and months and months, and nothing has happened. I'm still broke. I still feel like rubbish. These things don't work. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever heard anybody say that? Have you ever said that? Let me know. These affirmations don't work. They're a pile of rubbish. I've heard people say that. Really, really often. Alina takes me on to my next point. So here's the thing. There are going to be lots of reasons why your affirmations may not work, okay? One of the biggest thing is you're putting on a massive expectation on your words alone. You saying I am a millionaire 10,000 times is not really, I mean, let me know if you know differently, but I've not experienced anyone becoming a millionaire from saying they are a millionaire 100 times a day. That's not how it works. Your affirmations are to complement the inner work that's already going on. They are not the key. They are not the, you know, the one thing that's going to change your life. They're not. And a lot of people go into, you know, into affirmations and have this massive expectation that their life will change. And the truth is, that brings me on to the next point as well. The truth is, it won't. If you are sat in your house and you are saying these affirmations and you are doing the same things that have kept you in the position that you're in, you're only going to get the same outcome. Okay? That's the truth. People don't want to hear it, but I pride myself on keeping it real and being very honest. That is the truth. If you are doing the same things that you were doing before that was giving you the results you didn't want, and you're still doing it, but you're throwing in some affirmations and you're not changing anything else, you'll get the same results, because it is not magic. It is not magic. And one of the biggest problems with people with affirmations, and this is useful for your children as well, is that if you don't believe what you are saying, you're wasting your time. People may disagree with that, but I have to say it. If you don't believe in what you are saying, you are wasting your time. And the same thing goes for your children as well. A little bit controversial maybe, but I'll tell you why, okay? If you are saying to yourself on a daily basis, let me think of a really common, I'll just go with, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire, okay? I'm a millionaire, and I say it again and again, yes, I'm a millionaire. But actually, deep down, I'm looking around and I'm living in conditions that make me feel poor. I have poor relationships in my life. I have a lot of toxicity in my world. And I don't feel like a millionaire. What do you think is going to unfold? You see, you have to feel things. You have to believe. There has to be a belief system behind it. Many people, when they're trying to manifest or when they're trying to create, now we're going off on a tangent a little bit, but let me just give you a tip here. They think it's just the words. Well, it is your words, but it's what's underneath that. The all-important energy and feelings behind it. Your words are the tip of the iceberg. What's underneath is what is felt through your mind, body, and soul. I won't get too in depth with this, okay? But you have to believe what you're saying. You just have to. If you don't believe it, you're just literally saying words that mean very little. It has to be felt. So here's a better one. Just sticking with the millionaire affirmation. I desire to be a millionaire, and I am getting there. I desire to be a millionaire, and I am getting there. Does anyone feel the difference from that? Does that feel more real? Does that feel more believable for you? If it does, then you stick with affirmations like that. Yes, with all your heart. It isn't magic. The same, oh my God, Sam, the same words came to my mind before you said it, mind, body, and soul. Everything is energy, all right? So it's about saying affirmations that are believable for you. If you genuinely don't believe you're a millionaire, or that maybe you may not even ever get there, then don't say, I'm a millionaire. Say something else like, I'm on my way to living my best life. If that feels more realistic for you. I'm on my way to living my best life, and have the feeling behind it. Get excited for it. You can't get excited, you can't generate that feeling. Go and do something, watch something, see whatever you need to do to get into that state, and say, I am on my way to living my best life. Because sometimes the truth is, we have coding and we have programming going on that will tell us otherwise. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not a millionaire. What silliness is this? Our brains will try to keep us safe. Our brains will try to keep us in a state that we've been the whole time. This is why I say with children, we want to get these in from an early age. Before their full coding and programming happens. Yeah? Where they're in that state where they can fantasize and visualize and use their imagination. But it is still possible. But it has to be an affirmation that feels aligned for you. It cannot be something that just doesn't feel believable. It's like another thing that I hear with women is, with the women that I've come across, you know, and another issue is weight as well, right? So a lot of people I've heard saying, you know, I'm going to say this affirmation, I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to be a size 8 in May or by May. And May comes and it doesn't happen. These affirmations don't work. Okay. but we have to look at our actions. A better affirmation would be, I'm on my way to a size 8, because that's the truth. If you're putting in the action with it. And this takes me on to the next point. It's like we have to have aligned action with everything that we say, okay? So what makes an affirmation even stronger and embeds on a much deeper level is the action that comes with it. Does that make sense? In fact, has what I've said so far, ladies, has that made sense? Let me know. So we have to have the actions that come with it, okay? Again, we go back to the whole I'm a millionaire situation. I cannot say to you, I'm saying my affirmations, I'm a millionaire, and I'm sat in front of the TV all day watching Netflix, and that I expect it to work. It would be ridiculous. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, it's not the speed, it's the steps, it's the aligned action. Don't get me wrong, I've said things, I've affirmed things, I've put things out there, and things have just miraculously happened without any of my action. Those things can happen, okay? But for the majority of us and the majority of the time, we have to have some kind of aligned action that goes with it. Here's the difference. If I'm saying I'm a millionaire, and I've got music playing in the background daily that lifts my vibration and my energy up, that reminds me of who I am, reminds me of the boss that I am. If I'm doing the aligned action, as in I'm reaching out and I'm networking with people and I'm putting out content, if I'm replenishing my mind, body and soul daily, then yeah, it's much more likely I'm going to see some results because I'm putting all the pieces into place. Just have a look at the comments. It's always that little bit easier to set smaller targets and they will lead to a bigger result, especially with weight. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't put pressure on yourselves. Don't put pressure on your affirmations to create this magic. That actually, the magic always comes from you. It's always about the intention, the steps that you take, the aligned steps that you take. We're not wanting to take steps from a place of need or desperation or urgency. Just having patience and compassion with yourself to take those little steps that are taking you one step closer to your goal or your desire. So remember what I said at the beginning. Are your affirmations taking you closer to what you want or taking you further away? It's the same thing with your steps. Are they bringing you closer or further away? Yeah, we cannot say by the end of May, I'm going to drop 2 dress sizes and I'm not exercising and I'm not, you know, I'm not eating well, or I'm just doing things that are in complete misalignment with, you know, where I want to be in terms of my weight. Okay, now the whole weight loss thing, that's a whole other topic. So I'm not going to go off on a tangent on that, but essentially we want to have the aligned action that embeds the words, that creates the spells, that, you know, makes things penetrate on a much deeper level and recodes us, reprograms us. And again, this is why it's so important that we bring these in for children at such a young age. I mean, you could be pregnant right now, baby in the belly, and saying these things to your baby. They will absorb it. Okay? Yeah, and if not, change it. Change your, yeah, if things are not changing, we have to look at your energy and your actions. We have to look at your belief systems that are playing out, because they're always playing out, whether we want them to or not. So this is the key with a lot of it. It's about looking at not only what you're doing, but what you're not doing as well, and get the support in for that. So this is why with children, you know, it's so easy to kind of start this at a young age, because they have so many things going on that by the time, I don't know how old you guys are, I'm 35, but around my age, where it can be a lot harder to reprogram. I memorized the words Food is my friend and my body knows what to do with it. What are you reading, Alina? Because I've come across that as well. Is that Louise Hay? Might be Louise Hay. Food is my friend and my body knows what to do with it. And this is a truth, right? But if you're in a place where actually you're hating on your body, let's just say, for example, you're hating on your body that day and you're looking at your piece of cake or biscuit or your dinner even, and you're kind of thinking, I'm going to put on weight. This is going to go straight to my belly, or this is going to go straight to my hips. What can you say in that moment of time to soothe yourself? What can you say that would feel better for you? Because in that time, you may not believe that food is your friend, right? Send it to me a long time ago. Chocolate cake is my enemy, right? So if chocolate cake is your enemy, what will chocolate cake do to your body? What will you start seeing showing up? I remember when I was pregnant with my second daughter, I was a size 6. I was a size 6 in a very unhealthy way, by the way. And I would just eat anything, and at that point I could burn off anything because I trained my body through a very unhealthy way, which we'll talk about another time, to just burn off whatever I ate. And I remember I would eat a whole chocolate cake and I would eat it in one go, and I'd look and I'd go, I'm not even sorry. I enjoyed it. I'm not even sorry. And I stayed a size 6 to 8 throughout that pregnancy. But again, that was through a very unhealthy way. But it's about our belief systems, and our body shows up and shows us our belief systems, just like our belief systems are shown to us through our external. Chocolate cake. Oh, Ivana, our best friend. So for some people, chocolate cake is the enemy. For some people, chocolate cake is a long-term friend, right? Best friends with chocolate cake. But again, it's about your belief systems and what you're affirming to yourself. So again, if we just use Ivana as an example, if she believes that chocolate cake is the enemy and she goes to eat that chocolate cake, she's not going to feel good. She's most probably going to beat herself up afterwards. The inner saboteur will come out and go, oh, look what you've done now. Now look, you're going to go and put on 10 stone from that piece of chocolate cake. I'm exaggerating. And it just won't feel good for her. She may even feel feelings of guilt. And just beat herself up. Whereas with somebody else that enjoys chocolate cake and says, yeah, chocolate cake is my friend, like there's no repercussions from this whatsoever, they can indulge in that chocolate cake. They can most probably not really see any repercussions from that, and they can enjoy the feeling of devouring it without the guilt, without the beating themselves up, without the saboteur coming out. Does that make sense? Let me know. Okay. So, again, why your affirmations may not be working. Let's have a look. If I look at it as a friend, I will find it sometimes, but not all the times. I will not feel guilty. Yeah, exactly. So why your affirmations may not be working, you're putting way too much pressure on them and expecting them to transform your life. You're not seeing them as a support system to the work you're already doing. You don't actually genuinely believe what you're saying, so you would want to tweak what you say. Remember, your affirmations are for you, just like they are for your child. So if, for example, you do affirmation cards and you get a card that says, I'm brilliant at maths, and your child genuinely doesn't feel that they are good at maths. In fact, you hear them saying a lot of negative affirmations, which are, I hate maths, maths hates me, I'm rubbish at maths, then we want to kind of switch that up and sit with our child and say, okay, how about I'm doing the best that I can to be better at maths every day? How does that sound? How does that feel to you? And this is where I said the connection and conversation piece comes into play for you and your child, because you get to get into your child's mind and understand how they're thinking and feeling as well. And your child starts to feel a little bit better about the things that they felt quite negative about also. So we want to remember that they have to align with your belief systems and where you're at now, and they have to feel good to you. So with the words, we have to remember we want the emotions, we want the feelings, we want to generate that vibration underneath, underneath, so that they can support us in the best way possible. And remember, when we bring in affirmations with our children, this is going to take them throughout their whole lives. So they will find that actually they learn to speak to themselves in a much more kind and compassionate and loving way, more so than from a space predominantly that feels negative. Okay? So, what to do to make affirmations work? You state what is close to your own belief system. We add aligned action to them. We make them fun and free-flowing so it doesn't feel like work. And also what you can do as well, which is something that I do and I've done with my children in the past, is I integrate them with meditation, and if I'm giving them a Reiki treatment. So for example, if I'm meditating, I will say my affirmations to me through a meditative state. I will do that with my children as well. And if I'm giving like a short 10-minute Reiki session to one of the kids, I will sit with them and they can either say their affirmations or I will say affirmations with them, and they just absorb everything through the energy healing as well. And that's really, really powerful stuff. And they always feel so good after doing it as well. So one example that I mentioned about the aligned action, let me just have a look at some of my cards here. Okay, here's a good example. Again, you had Reiki in your mind. It's like you're one step ahead of me, Alina. You should do this. You have all the content there. So I don't know if you can see this the right way, but it basically says, I improve every day. And so that's the affirmation there, okay? And the action is, what are you getting better at in school? So you would ideally sit with your child and you would maybe write out or draw out what it is that they're getting better at school. And again, it has the affirmation and then it has the action and the kind of getting the brain going, actually, yeah, what am I getting better at school? I'm getting better at this subject or that subject, or I'm getting better at making friends, or do you know what I mean? So that's a good kind of statement or card for a child that actually may be a bit down on themselves. I think they're really rubbish at certain subjects. It's, I improve every day. Okay. I started doing it with my daughter when she goes to sleep, with saying to her, you are brave and you don't need to fear. Let me see the rest of that. Oh, that is the rest. No, thank you. I'm good at listening, not talking. Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, so these are just some of the things. If I just find one more. Yeah, so here's another one, right? Again, I don't know if you can see it the right way. I may not I may not know it yet, but I'm still learning, okay? That's a good one for us as well as adults. How can you get better at something that feels difficult? So that's where we're bringing the aligned action piece into place. Let's sit with them, sit with your child, think, right, well, what can we do that would make it easier for you going forward, okay? Let me just have a look at the comments. Coming to this late, got a 2-year-old running riot, but we'll watch as I've been struggling with making my 12-year-old feel more confident with his academic abilities, which are considerable, so that he doesn't give up before he started and says he's rubbish at everything and therefore not achieve his potential. He's very negative and down on himself, so this seems very useful. Yeah, sure, Katie. Have a rewatch. Any questions, just pop in the comments and I will come in and support you with that, okay? But those are just some examples that I wanted to show you. Just to give you an example about, you know, you have statements like this. I am grateful, right? List 5 things that you are grateful for. It may be that, you know, your child in that day is in a bad mood and they don't feel grateful for anything, and that's okay. That's okay. It's about where they're at in that moment, okay? I am brave, Alina. I know how to make myself happy. What 3 things make you happy? Things like that, where they're not always just a case of I am kind or I am happy, you know, things like, it's a case of, okay, if I'm not in that state, what else can I go for? Even something like this, if I worry, that's okay. Yeah, what can you do if you feel worried? All right. My 9-year-old struggles all the time and keeps saying he's not good at anything. Right, so we want to start bringing evidence around that. I mean, we want to hold space, obviously. We want to listen and all of that. But we want to start bringing in evidence that actually contradicts that belief system there, okay? Elena, I love those cards. I need to get a pack. Yeah, why haven't you got one? In fact, all of you. Why? Why haven't you got a pack of these? I'm only joking. If you'd like a pack, just post in the group or PM me and I will get one sorted for you. But yeah, there's all sorts of things. I'm just trying to see. Okay, so this one, for example, I'm always supported, right? There's 3 people who make you feel supported. So if in that moment, your child doesn't feel supported, so say they've come home from a bad day at school, they hate their teacher, they hate every teacher in the school, they just hate. They don't feel loved or supported at school. This wouldn't be the ideal card to use with them, but when they've calmed down and they're in a much more regulated state, you could maybe bring it out and say, okay, who does make you feel supported? Where do you feel supported, you know? Yes, Ivana's got a pack. Yes, she does. She's got a pack. How are you getting on with them? How have you used them, Ivana? Let me know. Yes, I really love one. Alina, I'll sort you out. Don't worry. Do not worry. Let me see if I can pick another one. I try and try again. And like I said, there's always an action, aligned action piece at the bottom that embeds the affirmation on a deeper level for your child. I trust myself. Yeah. I have to say, I do love these cards. I haven't looked at them properly in a while, but I do. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense, ladies. And I've given you a fair few examples about how we can use affirmations, why you may find that they're just lacking in energy and for you, and how you can rectify that, not just for yourself, but for your children as well. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Ivana, I have to be honest, we haven't used them for a very long time, but I'm leaving them by my side and I will use them today. Oh bless, that's fine. That's fine. Often what you can do, like something that I used to do in the past, is I used to leave the cards on the breakfast table. So when the kids get up, they have their breakfast and everything, they can see them there. And I would encourage them or invite them to draw a card for their day. And you can use them after school as well. Again, you can use them for one-to-one time. All of my services and products are, if you've been with me for a while, you will know this. It's about creating reconnection and communication for you and your child. Let me see if there's anything else. Thank you. You are so welcome. You are welcome. Any other questions? Feel free. And again, if you're watching this on replay, just reach out if you have any questions or if anything hasn't been too clear. But we have to remember always that they are affirmations. They're there to complement what we are already doing. Okay? And they have to align with our belief systems. All right. So for those of you that do Reiki as well, bring it in. See how that works as well. No questions from you. Excellent. Right, ladies. So I am going to love you and leave you where you are. I am going to wish you a lovely day or night, wherever you are in the world watching. And like I say, any questions, just drop in the comments, #replay, and I will be straight in there to support you and answer any questions you may have. All right, my lovely ladies, I will speak to you all very, very soon. Wishing you a lovely rest of your day or night. You are so welcome. Take care and bye-bye.